There's so much I want to say at the intersection of Bitcoin and real estate that it's genuinely hard to even know where to start. And part of it is it's hard because I don't know if, when you're clicking on this video, I don't know if you're like already investor in Bitcoin and you're in process of like holding more Bitcoin than you are dollars, or I don't know if like you're coming from the real estate side where it's like you just want to own a home, but you're feeling like you're like the treadmill of trying to get the down payment is like harder and harder and harder, especially in a place here like California. But honestly, it's the same everywhere. It's the same everywhere. I hate that of like the different states. I actually don't believe there's that much difference in affordability between the states. Okay, but that's probably a separate video. But so I don't know like what direction you're coming at it from, and so there's so much I want to say that I don't know where to start. But we start with this, that like Bitcoin it's better than fiat money. Bitcoin is better than fiat money because of that down payment issue that we just talked about. Dollars themselves don't hold purchasing power. The cost of owning a home has like increased in the amount of annual times of your salary like drastically. And a big part of that is because the currency that your salary is denominated in is not good. The currency that your salary is denominated in is programmed to lose at least 2% every year. A lot of people believe it's higher than that, but we don't even need to debate if it's higher than that. Just knowing that the currency itself is programmed to lose at least 2% a year, that's the reason why like getting the down payment is harder and harder and harder and harder, okay? So then what has happened is a lot of people realizing that have switched to Bitcoin. Like they've switched their savings currency to Bitcoin, which is awesome and a good move. That's something that my wife and I did like years ago. But then what that introduces back into the whole home buying thing is, well, okay, how do you use Bitcoin to buy a home then? Like that's a classic question. Like a classic question that a lot of people have. Okay, sweet. I believe then that works, but how do you use Bitcoin to buy a home? And because for a long time, like mortgage officers, here's actually the first tip. The first tip is if you're a first-time home buyer, you have to understand how the mortgage process works. You have to get a really good loan officer, like use a good mortgage broker, good loan officer that will just teach you the process. And honestly, just tell them that in the very first phone call. Just be like, hey, I want to actually nerd out on understanding exactly how this works. I want to learn how to calculate my own debt to income ratio. I want to understand, what you're doing behind the scenes to like shop this loan and the way that I can help boost my profile as a borrower. Like learning all of that, Bitcoin or no Bitcoin, will help you so much, because then entering in Bitcoin, like just now they're getting a little bit better at like accepting like Bitcoin on exchanges as like proof of funds to show that you can buy the home. But I wouldn't count on that. Like if you have a sizable amount of Bitcoin and you're looking to buy a home, I think a Bitcoin down payment loan is the number one smoothest way to do it. That's the way that we did it. And the benefit of it also is that it doesn't show up yet on your DTI. And so it's just another way to like, you put the Bitcoin up, you take the fiat loan, and then you season the fiat money in your account and then you go and get your regular mortgage, okay? This company that like link below, like Milo, this is not sponsored. I just genuinely love this company. Like Milo is the leader when it comes to Bitcoin mortgages. It's the leader in the United States at the intersection of Bitcoin and real estate, which is why I love them so much. And in like the evidence is in our house. Like I love our house. I'm so thankful for it. So thankful that this Milo product existed, because it allowed us to get liquidity from our Bitcoin and purchase the home. And so that part about it not counting against your DTI also is what makes it possible to combine it with other forms of HELOCs and things like that. Because so this is our third home. We own our first two primary homes, we turned them into rentals, and then we took HELOCs on those rentals as we kept like moving up, okay? And then the down payment for this home, we combined like different types of borrowing in order to all stack it up together. And the Bitcoin loan like not counting against your DTI, made that still possible and made it still possible for us to get a rate that was, you know, favorable and okay for us. And so that's really it. Like that's what it is. Like truly the best way to use Bitcoin for real estate is to borrow against it, and you don't have to do the entire loan. So Milo also has a product that will let you do 100% of the purchase price, so you don't need another loan, but it's mainly for investment properties right now. It's not for primary residences. So for the primary residence route, you would use your Bitcoin for the down payment loan, use that for the down payment, and then go through the normal like mortgage process, loan process for that. But if you were investing in real estate, and this is where I think more and more like real estate investors are going to like realize that the cash on cash returns of real estate are not as good as they are sitting in Bitcoin, which is true. Like that is true. If you just mathematically put them next to each other, that's true. And that's why a lot of Bitcoiners will scream like, well then why do you own rentals? Why do you own rentals? And that's kind of a fully, like, I've answered that in a lot of different avenues. And again, that's one of those things where it's like I have so much to say on it that I think sometimes my answer gets jumbled, but it basically comes down to like, because like real estate was the old way that Americans became millionaires, Bitcoin is the new way that Americans are going to become real millionaires, like en masse, simple way. And I think the story of the way that they're going to cross over has not been like fully written yet. And I think there's tax advantages of owning rentals. I think there's like a influence level. Like I still think that homeowners are seen as like having their shit together almost, and like rental properties are seen as like an interesting asset to hold. And so I think there is a little bit of an ROI there, and that Bitcoin doesn't have yet. Like Bitcoin is still seen as this kind of like random side thing. Like the influence of it is increasing, and the concept of like people looking up to people that invest in Bitcoin is happening, but it's not the same as real estate. Like real estate still sits in kind of this like preferred like TV shows are made about flipping homes. Like that's what I mean about like the cultural zeitgeist around like being a real estate investor is like there. It's like cool. And so I think there is a little bit of ROI there. But back to the cash on cash return thing, I think real estate investors are going to realize that like combining Bitcoin backed lending with the normal kind of like rental investing that they do is actually going to increase that return on investment. And so I think hybrid funds between Bitcoin and real estate is going to become more and more of a thing on the investing side. And then on the personal side, Bitcoin backed down payments. Bitcoin backed down payments are the way that you can like get over the whole down payment hurdle, because down payments are the number one thing that's like keeping people from buying homes, even if they can afford the monthly. Like a lot of people like to complain about the interest rate or whatever, and that's fine and fine, but honestly just the price and interest rates just flow up and down together. The down payment is the main hurdle for everyone. And so if you're struggling to get a down payment, I mean, definitely would look into Bitcoin, because Bitcoin accelerates faster than dollars do. And if you've already been doing that, I would say look into Bitcoin down payment loans so that you can become a homeowner.